If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will believe its whole life that it's stupid. Albert Einstein once said this, and if someone as smart as Albert Einstein said this, then why hasn't the school system changed? I mean, clearly all students learn differently, and we're all students now, so we know all about this. I mean, I have friends that love online school. Why? Because they can do other things while in class. They'll be cooking, or driving, or even with their friends. And the thing is, they learn by listening. So I have no problem with this, because as long as they are listening, they are learning. Now, if you ask me, I can't do this. God, I can't even listen to a podcast without getting distracted. So clearly, I learn in a completely different way. So if this is so obvious to us, then why isn't it obvious to the people in charge? Because one of us can be good in math and the other one can be good in art. So why are we still being defined by our grades? And this is what I'm going to be talking to you about today. Because the grades don't define us. And I wish I knew that earlier, and I wish people knew that now. The earliest forms of grading consisted of exit exams before awarding a degree. This was actually seen in Harvard as early as 1646, and Harvard and other schools soon experimented with public rankings and evaluations, noting that this resulted in increasing attention to the course of studies and encouraged good moral conduct to the students. But by the late 19th century, schools were growing rapidly in size and number, and coordination between schools became very important. So grades became one of the primary means of communication between these other schools. This meant grades needed to have more than just one meaning. This appears to be the initial origin of the A through F system familiar to most schools and students now, and in the present day, actually grading systems remain controversial and debated, due to the study that showed grading does not provide effective feedback that constructively informs students' future efforts. This proved to be true for tasks involving problem solving or creativity. Even when grading comes in the form of written comments, it is unclear whether students even reach such comments, much less understand them and act on them. Now, parents care so much about their child's grades because it is their main source of information on how their child is doing it at school. Teachers care about grades because it's their way of assessing their students, and we care about grades because we're told to. We're told that if we don't get good grades, then we won't go on to the next grade. If we don't get good grades, we won't graduate. If we don't get excelling grades, then we won't be successful in the future. The reason I'm so interested in this topic is because I wanted to talk to you because it's so personally to me. This was something that once affected me at a young age. I was a 13-year-old starting having serious anxiety attacks and showing signs of depression. Little did I know that this was caused because of all my pressure I was putting on myself because of grades. I was so desperate to always get everything above A, to achieve the best scores on exams, and exceed in every class, and all because I was told that grades would define my future. But here is where it gets tricky. Because according to a study by Learning Heroes, nearly 9 in 10 parents believe that their child is achieving at or above grade level because of the grades they're getting. Yet, national data indicates that only about 1/3 of students actually perform at that level, and only about 22% of parents believe that their child is struggling academically, socially, and or emotionally, proving that as long as parents look at the grades and they see what they want, they won't believe there is anything else to worry about. But there is so much more to all of us as students than just grades. And I know what people will say, you're all about talking about grades, but in the end, the grades are what got you into college and what will get you a job. There's actually a study that found that high school GPA is a strong predictor of college acceptance because grades are thought to capture both students' academic and non-cognitive factors that play a role in academic success, such as perseverance and positive mindset. However, an education based on summative assessment reflects closely on a teacher's performance. Many teachers are accused of teaching to the test. In other words, if a test is known to heavily favor anagrams or analogies, students may be asked to spend hours drilling these exercises instead of reading and writing to grow their vocabularies naturally. Additionally, a new study analyzed the stress levels of students at 2 high schools in Central Texas. Students completed daily surveys asking about the stress they experienced, and daily saliva samples were collected to measure the cholesterol levels. A majority of these students actually 68% experienced a drop in grades in the first semester and reported feeling stressed as a result. In how they handled that stress, 2 clear groups emerged. Students who believe that intelligence can be developed were more likely to see setbacks as temporary, but students who believe that intelligence is fixed, on the other hand, maintain high cholesterol levels for longer, said researchers. A stress response that tends to depress problem solving, and intellectual flexibility. The stress of an upcoming test is actually a reminder to study, a way of raising the stakes so that students recognize the importance of being prepared. But there are different ways to assess students other than summative assessment, such as providing formative assessment opportunities. This has been recognized as a significant benefit to student learning. Paul Black and Dylan William are notable researchers on formative assessment that prove through studies that innovations that include strengthening the practice of formative assessment produce significant and often substantial learning gains. Black and William also go on that formative assessment helps low achievers more than other students and so reduces the range of achievement while raising achievement overall. Through all of this, grades still don't define us due to the fact that there are better ways to take into consideration all of our strengths and weaknesses. Thank you.